From my research, I found that the Japanese can solve any problem by stacking guys on top of each other for an ultimate attack. Elin is no different, so let's go over riding and symbiosis. Riding is when you mount something. Symbiosis is when you get mounted. When you add them together, you get a totem. You can learn the skill from the Tinker's Camp, and all you got to do to use is right-click your mount, right-click your host. They're not stuck on there. You can right-click yourself, and they'll unhost, unmount. Let's cover riding first. You can ride any ally. Doesn't matter if they're monster or human. But why, oh Rumple, are we even doing this? Well, for me, the biggest thing was speed. If you didn't know, speed affects every action you do in the game. If we assume 100 speed is normal, then at 200 speed, you can complete 2 actions in the time it takes that guy to go once. There's like a whole formula for how it works, but I'm gonna keep it simple. Every mount has an aptitude rating from bad, normal, and good. You can go check the wiki. I got a link at the bottom. Basically, you inherit your mount speed, but, and there is a big but, if your riding skill is too low, or if your mount strength is not high enough, you're going to take penalties. For example, it probably took me like 25 to 30 riding skill, and I had to level my horse's strength up to like 40 to 50-ish before I started seeing the speed increase that I was looking for. So make sure you're giving your mount a bunch of strength food, so like meat is a great one, and riding just increases over time while you're riding, so it's kind of passive, so you can give a trainer a ton of platinum to kind of power level that. Enough about speed. While riding, the enemy will prioritize attacking your mount. It's almost like he's got a taunt at all times, which is convenient because when you're riding something, it effectively makes that creature immortal. What I mean by that is when it gets knocked out, you don't have to go to a bartender and revive it. You kind of just drag his dead body around. And as soon as they recover like 1 point of health, they're back in the game. So a bandage or just natural regeneration will get them back up. Don't forget, if you ever get too heavy, you can always throw a bunch of items into your mount's inventory. And if you give them a bow or a gun, you can start doing drive-bys. Since you can mount anything in the game, you have a lot of options. The animal merchant in Yawen sells a specific Yawen horse, and it's faster than normal horses. Another option, it's kind of rare from a merchant, but a carbuncle is a little slower than a horse, but it can heal and resurrect, so it's a very nice support. And if you just want to be a badass, grab a T-Rex. I think that's it for riding, but let's talk about symbiosis next. That's when something sits on your head. I tend to view these guys as more of a support character, like the black cat you get from the luck god. It sits on top of your head and licks any gear you pick up and buffs it. And another popular symbiote is the Caldarius. It's like a crane that'll heal and resurrect. If you're having issues keeping your symbiote alive, you can always take the defender perk to taunt. A note is that the symbiote takes your main character speed, even if you are riding a horse. Now for the downsides. Everybody in the totem pole gets an accuracy penalty, so that's going to apply to your melee attacks, your range attack, but it's also going to apply to your spell cast chance. You can mitigate this by raising either your riding skill or your symbiosis skill, but there's always going to be a 5% chance you can't get rid of. So -5 for riding, -5 for symbiote, so -10 if you have both. I'm back from the holidays, so more to come.